This is Coyote News.
60% of voters checked yes to the $42.8 million bond issue on constructing a new county jail and public safety center. Coyote News' Callie Connors is live in the muck to learn more about how local voting went yesterday. Callie?
Thanks, Hannah. I'm here with Michael Card, the Associate Professor Emeritus here at USD. So Michael, we learned last night the results of the 2022 midterm election. How will these results impact South Dakota?
Are you looking just for South Dakota or for the ones nationwide?
We'll just do South Dakota for now.
Well, in South Dakota, there were a number of races. The Republican candidates won almost all of the races, and they won by 63 to 71%. That means there were very little ticket splitting, meaning that the voters tended to vote Republican on almost all of their cases, as the Democrats have about 25% of the vote.
Do you think that we had enough voter turnout?
We had a 59% voter turnout statewide. That's pretty good. It's tough because in 2018, our last midterm election, we had record. It was the highest we'd ever had at 64%. So it was going to be tough to beat that. The other part that comes with that was the negative advertising that was coming out in the last days of the election had people a little bit turned off, and they thought the race is over. There's no reason to vote. So I think that took us down to 59%. But it's still pretty good. We'd love to have 100%, but we also want people to educate themselves on the issues.
How did these results compare to what you saw in the polls that you reviewed?
Well, the polls that I saw were largely wrong. They showed the gubernatorial race to be much closer than it was, and Governor Noem obviously just beat that, and so she did very well. On the other two issues, the legalization of recreational marijuana, that one was pretty accurate. It failed by getting only 45% of the vote to 55% that voted no, and the state decided to expand Medicaid access by almost the same vote, but they voted 55% for, which will mean that the working poor of the state will be able to get health insurance, although they may have to give up their private insurance that they got through Obamacare. But it'll help people of very low incomes.
How do you think that these midterm election results will impact the 2024 presidential election?
Well, that's a really good question because we don't know. I think part of it is our governor in her acceptance speech last night sort of gave both a South Dakota angle to it and an angle that she's interested in bigger things. So, you know, the speculation varies from will she ever be here in the state? That's a pretty pessimistic view, to she is going to be auditioning in other places outside the state for someplace in the administration. On the other hand, she also laid out a big agenda that's going to cost lots of money. So it'll be a very interesting legislative session as to whether we fund a prison addition, whether we take the sales tax off of groceries, which I bet all students would like, and whether we are able to provide child care, both increase the pay of child care providers and provide paid child care for working adults.
Michael, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for your time.
Live in the muck for Coyote News, I'm Callie Connors.
Thanks, Callie. Noem's inauguration will be January 7th.